Once upon a time, in a quiet village lost between endless fields and forgotten roads, there lived a boy named Niloy. People in the village often said he was born unlucky, a child wrapped in poverty, misfortune, and shadows. His house stood at the very end of the village, where mud walls cracked in the summer heat and the cold wind in winter slipped through every gap. His father was a simple farmer. His mother, a silent warrior who worked from dawn to night. And Niloy himself was a dreamer, trapped in a world that offered him nothing to dream with. From as early as he could remember, Niloy had only one dream: to study, succeed, and change his mother's life. But dreams were expensive in a village where even food was a luxury. People often whispered, "This boy will never reach anywhere. He is too quiet, too weak, too poor." Their voices drilled into him until he began to believe them. Every time he looked at other children with new shoes, new books, bright futures, he felt a sting in his heart, a reminder that he was losing time, losing opportunities, losing hope. Yet deep inside, a tiny spark lived, a spark his father ignited before fate extinguished him too soon. Many years ago, Niloy's father had told him that the mind was the real farm where life grew. What you plant in your thoughts, you harvest in your destiny. But Niloy was too young to understand those words. As the years passed, poverty tightened its grip around their home, and his father's health faded with each season that brought more drought than harvest. And then came the day that broke everything. It was the morning of Niloy's final school exams, the day he believed would change their life forever. He woke before sunrise, prepared his old torn bag, and looked at his mother with hope shining in his eyes. But hope is fragile. As he stepped out of the house, he heard his mother calling him back, her voice trembling, her hands shaking as she pointed toward the bed where his father lay motionless. The silence in the room was louder than any scream. His father had left them on the very morning Niloy needed him the most. The exam paper remained blank as Niloy sat in school with tears that blurred every letter. His father's absence swallowed his thoughts. The boy who once dreamed now felt hollow. He returned home defeated, and from that day on, the villagers began to call him the boy with broken destiny. Life spiraled downward. Poverty worsened. His mother worked until her hands cracked. Niloy tried to study, but every time he opened his books, memories choked him. His teachers often mocked him. "Wake up, dreaming won't feed your family." Other students laughed. "You think you can compete with us? First buy a pen that works." Each comment became a needle piercing his heart. Each failure became a weight dragging him deeper into darkness. The world outside belittled him, and the world within him doubted him. There came a point where he stopped trying. He stopped believing. He stopped dreaming. But life never breaks a person without also sending a guide to rebuild them. One evening, after another day of mockery and silence, Niloy wandered toward the old banyan tree on the outskirts of the village. People said an old monk lived nearby, an enlightened soul who rarely spoke to anyone. Niloy did not go there seeking anyone. He simply wanted an escape from his thoughts. But fate had other plans. The monk noticed the boy's slouched back, tear-stained eyes, and trembling hands holding his worn-out books. He approached him with calm footsteps, as if the earth itself softened beneath him. Without asking anything, he offered Niloy a small wooden bead, smooth, round, and carved with ancient patterns. It looked ordinary, but felt warm, alive, as if pulsing with silent energy. The monk gazed at the boy and spoke only one line that shattered the chains of Niloy's suffering and awakened something deep within him. Your mind is the architect of your destiny. Whatever you engrave inside it, life is forced to build outside. That sentence slipped past Niloy's ears and directly into his soul. The wooden bead became more than an object. It became a symbol, a seed, a reminder. The monk told him to hold it every morning and every night. Close his eyes, breathe deeply, and plant thoughts of success inside his subconscious mind. This bead will hold your intentions. Feed it with belief, and it will feed your destiny. From that day, Niloy's transformation began, not through sudden miracles, but through small, invisible shifts only the subconscious can create. He started waking up before dawn. He sat behind his house, holding the bead, breathing slowly, imagining himself succeeding. At first, the images were blurry. His mind resisted, mocked him, reminded him of his failures. But the monk's words echoed louder. So he persisted. Slowly, the fog inside his mind began to clear. He began studying 1 hour, then 2, then 4. His body was tired, but his mind felt awake for the first time. His posture changed. His voice grew steady. Even though villagers still laughed, he no longer broke under their words. A fire burned in his eyes now, a fire born not from anger, but from belief. Each day, he visualized his success so vividly that his mind began accepting it as reality. The bead became warm in his hands, as if absorbing his determination. Obstacles still persisted. The environment did not change. There were days he had no electricity to study, days he had no proper food, days he doubted everything. But each time weakness crept in, he pressed the bead tightly and remembered the monk's message. His subconscious mind, once filled with fear, now pulsed with purpose. Years passed slowly, but steadily. His confidence grew like a tree, nourished by invisible roots. He completed his studies. He earned scholarships. He worked while studying, saved every coin, and moved to the city. Life in the city was hard, but Niloy was no longer the weak boy from the village. He handled challenges with calmness and discipline. His mind had become his strongest ally. And then the day arrived that changed everything. He cleared one of the toughest competitive exams in the state, an exam thousands failed, yet he passed with distinction. The news spread like wildfire. The boy once mocked as useless had become a symbol of achievement. But his journey did not end there. He worked his way into a prestigious career, earned respect, built a new life for his mother, and slowly transformed everything that once hurt him into fuel for success. After many years, Niloy returned to his village. not as the poor, struggling boy, but as a man whose presence radiated confidence. The villagers who once mocked him looked at him with awe. His house, once broken, now stood rebuilt with pride. He walked toward the banyan tree, hoping to see the old monk who changed his life. But the monk was not there. Only the tree remained, silent and wise. Niloy sat beneath it, closed his eyes, and held the old bead he had carried all these years. The memories flooded him, the failure, the poverty, the tears, the doubts, the transformation, the victory. He realized something profound. It was never the bead, it was never the monk, it was never the villagers. It was always his mind.